Welcome to Gulfstream Park. It is March 7th, 2014. Christina Bosanak is here with Stephen Skaggs. And Stephen, good to have you here. And you missed well, you probably didn't miss the rain yesterday. We had quite a bit of rain yesterday afternoon.
Right, I was under a roof, but we had a deluge. I'm thinking there's moisture in the dirt track still. It's labeled fast. The turf course labeled good. Definitely moisture. We had enough rain, but a lot of sunshine out here. So I think by the end of the day, maybe turf could be firm.
And you've been watching the races. Not only have you been watching the races, you're also here in the mornings watching the clocking horses. How did you see it playing this morning?
Not much action going on today. We had the dogs up. That's the cones. The track was muddy today, a little better than sloppy, but not much action going on this morning. I think there will be a lot tomorrow, so I can't really tell you how horses were doing this morning because we have a different racetrack.
Well, looking ahead and quickly before we get into today's card, we had General A-Rod, who was second in the Fountain of Youth in his latest start. Finished a really good second behind Wildcat Red. He's been confirmed to go to the Florida Derby, and Wildcat Red, he's also supposed to be going to the Florida Derby. It seems to be shaping up to be a pretty good race.
And we get Cairo Prince back too. He skipped the Fountain of Youth, so it'll be the first chance that General A-Rod and Wildcat Red get to face him, and it's an extra 1/16 of a mile than some of them have gone. Mile and 1/8 Florida Derby day.
Well, we've seen how the Florida Derby has produced winners that have gone on in the Classics and done well. Orb, last year's winner, went on to win the Kentucky Derby. So exciting. It's always exciting when we get close to, not only to the Spring Classics, but also drawing close to the top 3-year-old races here at Gulfstream Park. But a couple of nice horses, several nice horses running in that heat. Stephen, we'll get into today's races. We do have a 10-race card, and it's highlighted by the race 5, which kicks off the 20-cent Rainbow 6. It's over $2.35 million is the carryover, and again that starts in race 5. But we'll start things off with the first race on today's card. It is a 16,000 declaiming event. It is a 1.1 on the turf course, and there is a scratch, and that's number 5, Gift of Speed. And I went with number 2, Legenda Aurea, and this is a German-bred filly, campaigned now by White Wabbit. They claimed this filly.
Yeah, it looks like Team Bauer purchased this horse from Germany. Last time this filly was on the lead, I don't think she wanted to be. They went the first quarter in 26-1, the half mile in 51-1. I think this filly wants to pass horses, and I like that Paco Lopez gets aboard. I thought the one English Holiday, you might consider using this filly. She's coming off a layoff, hasn't run since November. But Jose Lascano and Cassie, they're batting about 250 right now. They're hitting at a 25% win rate, and I think that is the good trainer-jockey combination in this race.
So you think Legenda Aurea is going to come from off the pace today, not on the pace as she was last time?
Yeah, I think she didn't. I don't think they wanted to last time. She just found her way there. When horses go 26.51, you usually see horses go 24.48. I could see her sitting off about 5 or 10 lengths and running at the end today.
And there were also a couple of jock changes in race number 1, and that is number 6, Indigo Red. Abdel Jain will be aboard, and also number 10, and that's David Baracco, will be on Holly Trick. On to the second race on today's card, which kicks off the early pick 4. And it is a 35,000 maiden claiming test, 6 furlongs on the main track. And I went with number 1, Coro. I like this filly. I think Colt, excuse me. I think he's pretty quick. And last time he was beaten into second, but I think I'm hoping he's going to get back on track this time.
Yeah, it looks like the 4 might hook up with Coro early. We'll see how far these two want to go. I went with the 7, Hurricaner. I'm hoping that Kent DeSormo can be a little closer today. Coro was in front of this horse last time, but I like that Hurricaner 2 back face, high Kodiak Warrior. That horse is in the Tampa Derby tomorrow. So I'm thinking with the 1 and the 4 dueling early, maybe the 7 can catch up.
And also a couple of other horses that I used. I know you did use number 4. We both used number 4. That's Moonwalker, and whom you mentioned is probably going to be showing speed in here.
Yeah, I think the 1 and 4, they will get in a battle. And they might soften it up for some backers. Another horse worth mentioning, the 3 Birdie House, trained by Mike Marina. He usually comes here loaded. This horse, the jockey fell off last time, so it's hard to get a read on the horse.
Right.
The horse was in for maiden 40 that day. Marina brings it back, maiden 35. The horse has been training at a farm, so no read on him in the mornings.
Right. On to the third race on today's card, and it is a 6-furlong test at 12.5 claiming event, and it is a couple of, there's one scratch in there, number 5, and that's CD Gold, and my top selection in there. I went with the number 7, Jersey Blue Giant from the Peter Walder barn, and Joel Rosario gets back aboard after a 5th place effort, but we're finding easier company here.
Yeah, I like the 5 CD Cold, the horse that's scratched, trained by Jamie Ness. So when in doubt, Jamie Ness has 2 in here. I went for his other horse. I'm thinking he might have entered 2 in here to make sure the race went. The 2 Dixie Deputy, I think you picked this horse last time, Christina, or maybe the time before when the horse won.
Yeah.
Horse has an affinity for Gulfstream Park, 1 for 5 with 2 seconds.
Yeah, when you want to use, and also it looks like we both used number 4, Ray of Light. It's likely going to be showing speed. Any concerns between number 2, Dixie Deputy, and number 4, Ray of Light getting hooked up early?
They might get hooked up early, but what I like about both these horses is they have wins over the racetrack. The 4 Ray of Light's actually 2 for 2 at Gulfstream. So yeah, I think the horse will be out there early, but I think these 2 might be able to carry it a little better than the race we were talking about before.
And looking ahead to the 4th race on today's card, it is a 62.50 claiming event. It is 1 mile on the main track, and I went with a number 3. That's a B Boston Strong, and who's gonna, I'm hoping, gonna be showing. I'm gonna give him another shot. Last time he was 3rd, but he really had a problematic beginning to his last race. So we can have a look at that at his start, Stephen.
Yeah, and I think this horse that you're mentioning will appreciate the extra distance too. This race was 6 furlongs that day. It seems like he's better at the mile. He actually had run behind Broome Street, and here he is getting squeezed at the start. And the race might have been a little too short for him too. I think he wants a little more ground. Yeah,
I think if with a cleaner trip, I think that's going to put him into the mix of things. I think he rallied to finish pretty well to be 3rd. And again, I'm going to give him another shot because he seems he's been having some problems lately. But who else did you use in here, Stephen?
Christina, I ended up with the 5 Cash Lee, trained by Philip Serpy. The horse just got beat a neck last time in the same condition. I'm hoping Jeffrey Sanchez can maybe move this horse up a neck and maybe gets the job done today.
Well, he was in the mix of things last time, and seemingly will be. I had him on in my selections too today, so I hope he's going to be in the mix of things once again today. We're going to take a short break, folks, and we'll come back and have a look at the 5th race on the card, and that does kick off the Rainbow Six. We've got a carryover over $2.35 million.
The OBS March 2-year-old sale is the Grade 1 source to the world, with undefeated juvenile champion Asia Express in Japan, Grade 1 juvenile stakes winners by Conquistadore, Secret Compass, and Bondholder, King's Bishop winner Capo Bastone, and Breeders' Cup Sprint winner Secret Circle in North America. Make plans to find your next Grade 1 winner at the OBS Selected 2-year-old sale, March 10th and 11th. OBS, we measure success by performance.
ExpressBet brings you a whole new way to play the races. An easier, better way to wager on your favorite tracks. With a more streamlined interface for faster wagering. With more handicapping insights from our world-class experts. With more racetracks, nearly 200 to choose from. And with your personalized multi-view wagering screen, your tracks, your wager pad, and your video are all on one page. It's simply the best way to play the races. Your way. Welcome to ExpressBet. Your way to play.
Welcome back to Gulfstream, and we're going to have a look at the 5th race on today's card that launches the Rainbow Six. We do have a carryover. It's over $2.35 million, and it is a 12.5 maiden claiming test, 5.5 furlongs on the main track. And my top selection in here, I went with number 7, and that's Wild ZZZZ.
4 Z's.
Yeah.
To me, this race, there's 5 horses in here dropping in class. So I don't know if it's a fire sale, but you have a lot of horses here dropping from 25,000 into 12.5. So to me, that was red flags. I ended up going with the 4 Cesar Run, a horse that has second-itis, a horse I typically wouldn't take.
Yeah.
But he's been running 6 furlongs. Today, the horse is back down to 5.5 furlongs. I think the horse is more competitive at that distance. He has tried it 4 times with 3 seconds, and this horse has been competitive in the 12.5 level. He'd been running for 20, so he's the one horse that I typically wouldn't take, but today at 6-1, I think he might get in front and keep going.
Okay, well that's a good point, because I used him, and the reason why I didn't put him on top was exactly because those are the kind of horses that I don't particularly like to use. And also I did go with number 7, and that as I said, Wild ZZ. I don't know, maybe we pronounce it that way. Maybe it's just Wild. Who knows? But from the Peter Walder barn. And I also think that this horse showed speed last time. Actually, this is a first to claim. It's not a first claim. This is a first time running for trainer Peter Walder. And these horses do typically very well with Peter for the first time.
Yeah, Peter got this horse. It looks like the last time he ran was at the end of January 26. What scared me with this horse is he quadruple dropped him. He went for maiden special. He skipped maiden 50, maiden 35. He's all the way down to maiden 12.5. He gets Dylan Davis today. He gets the weight allowance with the Bug Boy. The horse scared me. Definitely the horse to beat, though.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was a horse that I wanted to use. And looking onto the 6th race on today's card, it is a 50,000 maiden claiming event. It is 7.5 furlongs on the turf course. And thus far, and it looks like for the rest of the afternoon, the turf course is listed as firm. And this race kicks off the pick 5. My top selection, I went with the number 1, and that's a Thunder Run. And had a wide post the last time for Mike Maker, and draws the rail this time. But Javier Castellano is back on board.
Top connections. I went with the 6 Scat Leader. This horse was actually entered this past weekend in scratch. I think it was a maiden 35 race. Maybe they didn't want to lose the horse for that tag. The horse is back in for maiden 50. The son of Scat Daddy already ran at this distance. We get Todd Pletcher, John Velasquez, also top connections. I thought the 5 Schoolyard, just showing Danny Gargan's barn. He claimed the horse off Bill Mott for maiden 35. This horse has ran some good races so far at Gulfstream. Gargan raises him to maiden 50. I think the horse is still competitive in this spot.
Yeah, a horse that I think that's likely going to be showing speed. Schoolyard, at least he was in front last time. But who else do you think will be up there with him early?
Maybe the 7 Grizzle, trained by Louis Carbajal. That horse showed a little pace last time, but I think the 5 Schoolyard is in front, and it'll be up to Joel Rosario to manage the lead.
A couple of horses, I think, for the pick 5. I'd probably want to use a few in that race. And moving on to the 7th race on today's card, which kicks off the late pick 4, and we do have it is a 75,000 allowance optional claiming event. It is 5 furlongs on the turf course, and I think a really interesting race and competitive race. Although I had number 8, the Sweet Emma Rose, on top. Very nice filly from the Wesley Ward barn. She made her debut, or she broke her maiden very impressively at Keeneland, and that was last April. Came back at Pimlico in May, and she was bumped up to Stakes Company, so that was a pretty tough race. But Stephen, they sent her over to Europe to Royal Ascot. She ran 2nd in the Queen Mary Stakes behind a very nice filly named, and then subsequent Grade 1 or Group 1 winner Resina, before coming back just getting a neck last time. But this was a nice effort.
Yeah, I was actually in Ascot the day she ran. I think I bet on her, and she was about 20-1. But the race that we were just watching, she got beat by a nice filly, in my opinion, Tiz Gale. I think Sweet Emma Rose ran her race that day. And talking to Wesley Ward, he thinks she's going to run better today. I thought this was a very competitive race, quality filly. I saw an abundance of speed. I think Sweet Emma Rose is the speed of the speed. I think she's she's going to bury all the horses chasing her. So in second, I came with a horse that's 20-1, the 5, Henny Jenny. This filly just ran second to another Wesley Ward daughter of City Zip, Ruslana, in a stake at Ocala. I think Henny Jenny could pick up the pieces, and if you get 20-1, you better take it.
Yeah, I actually used her in my top selections as well, and I thought she ran not only, she's been pretty versatile, she ran well so far on the synthetic. My only thought was that her best races have been on the synthetic. However, I think that her form or her breeding should suggest she can handle the turf. I also used the number 3, Little Michelle, and I think just her style of running might be favorable in here because you have a couple of horses in here that look like they have some speed.
I think there's about 5 horses in here that are going to be running as fast as they can, as far as they can, and I'm with you. I like the 3, Little Michelle. I thought she ran really well first time out last time, and I think her running style, she'll be running at the end, and she might pass the horses that get tired chasing Sweet Emma Rose.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. On to the 8th race, and it is a 25,000 maiden claiming event. It is a 1 mile, it's the 1 mile distance on the turf. And my top selection, I went with number 8, Rumble Time, and trained by Roger Atfield. Now, Roger Atfield, it hasn't broken through with a win thus far at the current winter meet, although I think that this colt ran a pretty good race. He did take money, ran a pretty good race last time. I'm expecting him to move forward second time off the layoff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the 8, Rumble Time, is the horse to beat. I'm coming with the 10, Shore Fellow. Maybe you don't see it at first, but a gelding by Lewis Michael out of a Dynaformer mare. This horse gets blinkers.
Can you say turf?
Right. Total turf pedigree. The horse gets Lasix. The horse gets blinkers. Horse gets Paco Lopez. This horse has, in my opinion, a bunch of up arrows going for him. The trainer, Francis Abbott, he's 25% with second-time maidens. He's 33% first-time blinkers and 25% first-time Lasix. I don't think you're going to get 8-1 because I think other people are going to see what I see, but maybe we'll get 4-1.
Now, who else would you use in here? I saw that you also used a Rumble Time, but what about number 9, Laws of the City? This is a colt that both of us used.
Right. This horse did all the running last time, just got beat a neck. I think this horse, I think the 8 and the 9 are the horses to beat, but look out for my 10, Shore Fellow.
Okay, and probably at a better price, too. On to the 9th race on today's card, and it is a 62.50 allowance optional claiming race. It is 6.5 furlongs on the main track. And my top selection in there, I went with number 2. That's a Salamira, coming into this off of a really good second place effort, just beaten 3/4 of a length behind Mass Invasion, who's going to be running tomorrow in a very competitive Florida bred test, in fact. However, this filly was also 3rd in the Sunshine Millions filly and mare sprint, but I thought that race was pretty impressive last time, Stephen.
Yeah, and we've got 3 horses exiting this race that are in today. We have the 5 Calistoga, we have the 3 Sky Skier, and we have the 2 Salamera, the horse you like, and it looks like she beat the other 2 horses in here. I went with what I thought was the class of the field, the 4 Jamaican Smoke. She's 3rd in her form cycle. Her first race off the layoff, she actually faced boys. I thought she ran an honorable 3rd that day. She got beat by Bears, Tough Tiger, and Positively. Her next start, she faced Groupie Doll on Dawn Day, a grade 3. They went 1-14-3 that day. Jamaican Smoke made the lead. If she makes the lead today, she's running against a different group.
I think so. Now, let's talk a little bit about Calistoga, because I think she's a bit of an enigma. She kicked off her career with like a pair of consecutive victories here at Gulfstream, so we know she likes the racetrack, and very impressive wins. That was last spring. Or last winter, came back in the 8 Bells. It's a grade 3 race at Churchill Downs, and was 4th. She was only beaten just over a length, so I don't think there was any disgrace in that. Came back off a long layoff, showed speed, flattened out late. What do you do with her?
I don't know. Like you said, it's an enigma. You wouldn't use the layoff as an excuse because she won first out here last year.
Yeah.
So I was very disappointed in her effort. Maybe Bill Mott figured it out. You know, maybe she runs her A race. If she does run her A race, she's the horse to beat.
I agree with you, and it's funny because that's why I didn't put her on top, because I feel like, and especially Bill Mott, he can get them ready off the layoff too. He's one of my guys that I feel that I have a good feeling about him. And I also used number 8 in there, Lil Red Cosette, getting the services of John Velasquez. Gets back to the dirt off of a turf effort. But I think that's a pretty competitive race in there, Stephen.
What did you think about the 7, Lucky Ragdoll? That was a horse that was at Monmouth all summer.
You know, and I really like Lucky Ragdoll. I didn't use her in my top selections here because I'm very curious to see her, how she comes back, and when I see her in the paddock. She's one of those horses that when she's ready to run, you can see she's ready to run. And I really like her, and she beat Mass Invasion, who, again, I mentioned, who's going to be, who we saw in the video clip that was beating Salamira in that latest start. She's a really nice filly. And I think if she's on her game, I think she's gonna run huge.
She's training well.
If she's training well, that's it. And I'm going to look at her in the paddock, and then hopefully we'll come to some kind of consensus. On to the 10th and final race on today's card. It is a 35,000 claiming race. It is 7.5 furlongs on the turf course. There's a scratch. Also eligibles, number 11. That's JoJo's Gal. And a couple of jockey changes. Number 1, 10 Easy Street will be ridden by Paco Lopez. And number 4, Principe Sagina will be ridden by Gabriel Saez. And my top selection, I did go with number 4, Principe. Maybe I just want to say Principe Sagina all the time. And she ran a forgettable 6th the last time, but that wasn't an off-the-turf test. I've always liked this filly all along on the turf. And we're in 35,000 claiming company. So I think she fits at this level. I just like her back on the grass.
Right, grass is her friend. The last race is a throwout. I went with the 1, 10 Easy Street. I was chasing this filly 2 back. She's actually ran behind Room Service, who won a graded stake here this past weekend. And I was playing her that day. I thought she got a rough trip. Paco Lopez is back aboard. It'll be first time trained by Gammy Vasquez coming from Kirk Zadie.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And also another couple of horses, or one that I use, number 5, She's Coal Fired, from the Wesley Ward barn, Dylan Davis in the irons. So that's going to be a horse to watch. And also number 6, Pour Etiquette. And I saw that you used, what did you do under that filly?
I like the 6, Pour Etiquette.
Okay.
I thought Dylan Davis gave her too much to do, and maybe that's why Wolfson went with Castellano today. But I like Javier getting on this filly. Maybe he gets her more involved.
Stephen, before we let you go, I just want to take a quick look down the road, or I should say this weekend. We're not going to have you here tomorrow. We're going to have Mike Welch, but just your thoughts and ideas on the Gulfstream Park Handicap. We've already talked about Palace Malice. He's coming back, making his 2014 debut. It's My Lucky Day, and also Uncaptured, also a Canadian Classic winner. We have 2 Classic winners in here. Palace Malice won the Belmont Stakes here in the States, and Uncaptured, the Prince of Wales.
And we have George Weaver's horse. It's a very tough race. It looks like John Velasquez and Paco Lopez head the jockey colony tomorrow, so I'm thinking we get the return of Palace Malice ridden by John Velasquez. We get the return of It's My Lucky Day ridden by Paco Lopez. It might be those 2. They might be the class of the field, but they have excuses. They're coming from layoffs.
They are coming from layoffs. And also another race I'm going to be looking forward to is Unlimited Budget. She was a very multiple graded stakes winner for Mike Rapoli and from the Todd Pletcher barn. She's running in a 7 furlong allowance. It's for Florida bred fillies. It's a really nice field.
Right, loaded field, and I think our free roll will be loose on the lead. We'll see if Unlimited Budget can catch her. She is the class of the field, being a grade 2 winner.
So we also have, looking ahead to this Sunday, Sweet Whiskey. She won the Old Hat here earlier in the meet. She's going to be running in an overnight stake, the Any Limit. That's on Sunday. She's going to be facing Whomping Willow. I think she's a nice filly, too. So we have some really nice races coming up this weekend.
Good racing all over.
And we do have that 20-cent Rainbow 6 still for today. That's in race 5, $2.35 million. And that begins in race 5. That's it for me and for our man Stephen Skaggs. And I will be back with Ron Nicoletti for the rest of this afternoon. So folks, join us.
Good luck.
1/16 of a mile in front of the rest of the field, but riderless as they come to the 8th pole in the Gulfstream Park Handicap. Discreet Dancer is the leader, and on the outside, Swaggerjack is second and Fort Loudon is third. As they come to the wire, Discreet Dancer and Javier Castellano officially in the Gulfstream Park Handicap.